this week I'm off to Florida to speak at the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans. Say that fast 10 times. So I'm talking about sugar in the workplace, and the whole conference is really dedicated to people and companies addressing addiction in the workplace. So I'm really excited that this foundation is addressing sugar as an addictive property in the workplace and how it impacts the workplace. So one of the biggest ways that sugar impacts us is that it zaps our energy levels. It affects our sleep. It affects how our brain functions, so it can actually affect memory. It impacts our immune system, so we get sick more often. And then what happens is we often, once we've finished our sick leave, we will come to work not feeling our best, not feeling well, not fully recovered. And when that happens, what we find is there's something called presenteeism. Now, presenteeism is basically defined as people coming to work in less than a healthy state, so either sick or having anxiety or depressed, and then coming to work and getting paid to work and function in less than optimal circumstances. So imagine this. Imagine how well you work when you are feeling fit, when you've had a great night's sleep, when your mind is perfectly clear, when you have tons of energy, right? How much more are you able to get done when you're focused, when you're super focused? We know that sugar impacts focus and brain fog. It's absolutely one of the biggest things that when people get into the Sweet Freedom program and get off of sugar, they notice big time how clear they think and how even their moods are. So imagine the flip, going to work and you're tired, you haven't slept well. You're not feeling like you have very much energy and you're not thinking very clearly. You just kind of have this low level of anxiety or depression. And how easy is it for you to get distracted in that circumstance, right? With those set of circumstances, right? So presenteeism, we're finding, is costing the workplace $3 for every $1 that absenteeism costs that business. So if you're losing $1,000 each month because your employees are sick, you're actually losing $3,000 due to presenteeism. A year-long telephone survey of 29,000 working adults, dubbed the American Productivity Audit, calculated the cost of presenteeism in the US to be more than $150 billion a year. Most studies confirm that presenteeism is far more costly than illness-related absenteeism or disability. 2 Journal of the American Medical Association studies found that on-the-job productivity lost resulting from depression and pain was roughly 3 times greater than the absence-related productivity loss attributed to these conditions. And this is really important when it comes to sugar, because what many employers are unaware of is that they're unwittingly providing sugar for their employees that's actually contributing to that problem. It's kind of, like the workplace being the drug dealer and saying, but everyone likes it. They like their cocaine, they like their heroin. So we just put it, in the meeting room. We put it at the front desk at reception for people to greet them. They're just so much happier when they have their drugs. So it's very kind of in our culture to actually have sugar everywhere. Birthday cakes, and here's another piece. I don't know about you, but I have had jobs in the past that I hated. I wasn't meant to be in that job. It was a job that was just basically paying my bills, and it wasn't something that was feeding my soul. And so I often used sugar as a way of actually getting through my day. It was like this drug hit to kind of push down that low level of discomfort that I was feeling, and then just having that little sugary hit. And I know people who are like chasing every hour, sometimes every half hour, with a little sugary hit to get them through the day. And what happens? 3 o'clock, they have that slump, they feel terrible, and where'd they go? They usually go to sugar or coffee or some kind of stimulant if they're not actually distracting themselves at work with some kind of internet focus distraction, dopamine hit. So there's a great impetus for businesses to start addressing sugar in the workplace and not being the drug dealer, number one. Now, I think it's probably inconceivable right now that just because you stop providing sugar at work, that your employees are not going to have sugar anymore. But the difference is that you're not going to be the drug dealer anymore. And so what's going to happen is people are going to have to provide their own, and that's fair enough. You can't stop people for doing that right now. We're in that climate where, you know, people have freedom of choice. Woohoo, I like that. But you're not adding and impacting it. And if you can go a step further, as many visionary workplaces are doing now, and provide healthy alternatives to sugar in the workplace. So I'm not just talking about the fruit bowl, right? That's, you know, that's something that's, you know, useful, but it's still going to be sugar. And if they're already having their own sugar on top of it, it's not going to be totally nourishing for them. So you can have herbal teas in the coffee section. You don't provide the sugar, and you definitely don't provide the artificial sweeteners, because that is wiping out their gut flora, which dramatically impacts brain function. Okay, so the other thing you can do is provide healthy lunches. If you're not in a position to fund it, you can create a climate within the workplace where employees are encouraged to bring healthy lunches. They can even get together in groups and provide lunch for the whole team, and then you have 5 groups doing that throughout the work week, and you only have to provide lunch once. There's just so many ways you can actually foster a nourishing, energizing, and protective workforce. But one of the things we know for sure is if you want less profits at the end of the year, you just have to keep supplying the drugs that are making your employees sick, absent, and also costing you even more through presenteeism, through lost productivity and focus. So if you want them to focus, help them nourish themselves. And if you're looking for alternatives, we have Sweet Freedom Sugar in the Workplace programs that we can actually offer your workplace. So if you want a workplace that isn't negatively impacted by absenteeism and presenteeism, and we're not saying these are going to go away overnight, but one of the things you can do is stop supplying the sugar and start supplying or encouraging the behaviors of people actually eating in a way that nourishes, energizes, and protects their body, so they get sick less and they're able to function at a much more optimal level. So if you've liked this video, please press like, subscribe to our channel, and for more information, simply go to sweetfreedom.ca.